She wasn't supposed to be there. Regulations, superiors, and even her own squadron had warned her off. But when she heard the desperate call that 381 Navy SEALs were pinned down, with no way out, she knew she couldn't stand by. She tightened her grip on the controls of her A-10 Warthog, broke every rule in the book, and flew straight into the fire. Before I take you into this heart-pounding true story, if you love your mom and dad, hit that subscribe button and show some love to her, because family is everything, and this story is about risking it all for those you refuse to lose. The desert sun was sinking low, painting the rugged terrain in long shadows, when the ambush began. The SEALs had been on a covert mission deep inside hostile territory, operating under radio silence. But somehow, their enemies had been waiting for them. Gunfire erupted from the ridges, mortars rained down from hidden positions, and within minutes, the elite unit found itself surrounded, vastly outnumbered, and cut off from extraction. Panic wasn't in their vocabulary, but even SEALs knew when the odds were impossible. Their commander sent out a single coded transmission, one last chance for survival. Miles away, flying a routine patrol, Captain Sarah Mitchell picked up the distress call. She was one of the few female A-10 Thunderbolt II pilots in her wing, known for her precision flying and nerves of steel. Yet, she had been warned countless times, stick to protocol, don't improvise, don't play the hero. The A-10 wasn't even cleared for the zone the SEALs were trapped in. But when Sarah heard the chilling voice over the comms, "This is Hammerfall team, we are surrounded, 381 souls, we won't last another hour," something inside her snapped. She checked her fuel. Not enough for a long engagement. She checked her payload. Standard loadout, not designed for this type of rescue. She checked clearance. None. Everything told her to wait, to pass the call up the chain of command. But she couldn't. These were American soldiers, brothers in arms, dying in real time while red tape stalled action. She whispered into her headset, "Hang on. I'm coming." And she pushed the throttle forward. As Sarah closed in on the grid, she saw it, a nightmare unfolding below. Dozens of enemy technicals swarmed the valley, heavy machine guns cutting through the dust, RPGs streaking across the sky. The SEALs were pinned against a jagged cliffside, fighting tooth and nail, their position lit up like a beacon. She felt the knot in her stomach tighten. This wasn't a mission. This was a massacre in the making. "Warthog inbound," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. She dipped low, the A-10 screaming through the canyon, her GAU-8 Avenger cannon roaring like thunder. Rows of enemy trucks exploded in fireballs, the ground shaking under her assault. The SEALs looked up in disbelief. Help had come, in the form of a single aircraft flown by a lone pilot who had no right to be there. But just as quickly as she struck, the enemy adapted. Anti-aircraft fire erupted from hidden nests. A missile streaked past her wing, close enough to rattle her bones. Her training screamed at her to pull back, to disengage. She ignored it. "Not leaving them," she growled. She pulled a hard bank, came back around, and unleashed hell again. Down below, the SEAL commander rallied his men. "Hold the line. She's buying us time." Every second Sarah bought with her daring runs gave the trapped team a chance to regroup, to tend to the wounded, to prepare for extraction. But it was costing her. Her fuel was draining fast, her armor riddled with holes, alarms blaring inside the cockpit. Then came the twist. Just as Sarah prepared another run, her comms crackled to life, not from the SEALs, but from her command. "Mitchell, disengage immediately. You are not authorized to be in that airspace. Return to base now." The words cut like knives. To obey meant abandoning the SEALs. To disobey meant court-martial, the end of her career, maybe worse. She closed her eyes for a heartbeat, remembering her father's words before he passed, a veteran himself, who had taught her that honor meant doing what was right, not what was easy. She opened them again, steely and unflinching. "Negative, command," she said flatly. I'm not leaving them behind. The battle raged on. With each dive, Sarah destroyed enemy positions, carving open a narrow corridor. The SEALs seized the chance, pushing through the smoke and fire toward the extraction zone. But the enemy wasn't done. A second wave emerged, more organized, more heavily armed. For the first time, Sarah doubted if she could pull it off. Her ammo was nearly gone. Her plane, battered and smoking, wouldn't last much longer. That's when she did the unthinkable. Spotting the enemy convoy closing in on the SEALs, she made a split-second decision. She tilted her A-10 into a near-suicidal angle, using the plane itself as a weapon. With one final strafing run, guns blazing until they clicked empty, she tore through the enemy's lead vehicles and scattered the rest in chaos. But the maneuver left her vulnerable. A missile locked on and struck her tail. The Warthog shuddered violently, alarms screaming, the cockpit filling with smoke. "Bail out," her command barked through the radio. She ignored them again. "Not until they're safe," she whispered. With her last ounce of control, she limped the plane lower, flying so dangerously close to the SEALs that her very presence shielded them from enemy fire. They surged forward, boarding their extraction helicopters just as her A-10 finally gave out. She ejected at the last possible second, her parachute opening against the crimson sky. The SEALs cheered as the helicopters lifted off, carrying all 381 men to safety. They looked up and saw her chute drifting down, a lone figure silhouetted against the setting sun. Captain Sarah Mitchell had broken every rule, but she had saved every life. When she was pulled from the desert hours later, battered but alive, her fate remained uncertain. Court-martial or commendation? Punishment or honor? The debate raged among the brass, but among the SEALs, there was no question. To them, she was the reason they lived to fight another day. And in that silence, in the eyes of men who had seen death too close, one truth stood higher than all the rules and regulations: sometimes, to protect your brothers, you must be willing to risk it all. So, what do you think of Captain Sarah's choice? Was she reckless, or was she the kind of hero America needs more of? Let me know in the comments, and tell me, what part of the country are you watching this story from?